Welcome to Ancestral Wisdom, where the wisdom of the past guides our future. Today we're going to talk about the rune Eihwaz. The word that I want you to think of when you hear Eihwaz is the word you, Y-E-W. So this is the rune which embodies all of the deep meaning and spiritual significance and philosophical significance that the yew tree itself is a symbol of. This is the yew rune. And so Eihwaz, think Y-E-W, yew tree. Now, the yew tree is also synonymous with the world tree in Norse mythology. And the world tree is the tree which has a link to all of the 9 worlds. And we can talk about the yew tree and the world tree and the 9 worlds for quite some time without ever unlocking all of the mysteries hidden within that deep symbolic complex. But one thing that is important to know is that all of the ways that the yew tree connects to the 9 worlds, they're not 9 worlds that reside outside of ourselves. So Midgard is not necessarily just the earth, right? It's not where we are, and Asgard is not some place out there necessarily. But they are all states which are attained at different levels and at different stages of your life. So, for example, you might consider Asgard to be the state in which you've reached your highest potential and have passed from this world and have the potential to be reborn into it again, as we've talked about several times on this channel. There are states that you can reach in this life, in this life through contemplation and meditation that are part of that system of 9 worlds. And there are some that we might not be able to reach from where we are in this life. But it's important to note that we're not talking about places to go as much as we are talking about states of being. So how can we conceptualize this yew rune, the rune of the yew tree and of the world tree, in a way that can make our life better? Well, the first is just by using it as a way to meditate upon the different levels of consciousness that we can attain in this life and beyond. So meditating upon that and realizing that there is more than meets the eye to reality can be very beneficial to us in many ways. One way that can be beneficial to us is by understanding life and death a little bit more effectively. We in the West, in the Christianized, to the Judeo-Christianized West, tend to view the world and time as a line with a beginning and an end, whereas the traditional way of viewing life is cyclical. And so understanding Eihwaz can help us to understand the cyclical nature of life in a way that allows us to be liberated from the fear of death. Because fear of death is fear of an end. And if you realize the cyclical nature of life, which is without end, then you cannot be afraid of an end. So one way to conceptualize that, given the image of the Eihwaz rune, is as the central axis of the world tree, with one end dipping into hell and one end dipping into heaven, to use sort of a mix of terminology, but you get my meaning. um, in in across that axis, you have the link between life and death and heaven and hell. And the knowledge of that link and the cyclical nature of the process can help to conceptualize the idea of death and to help place yourself in this everlasting drama of existence, the sacred drama of existence. So that's one way that you can use it to meditate upon the layers of the world tree, the different levels of consciousness, the idea of life and death and the connection between the two, and to liberate yourself from the fear of death. How else can we use the power of the you rune to make our lives better? The yew rune, the yew tree, is a very resilient wood. It's known for creating uh, really great bows for archery. It's known for its durability and hardness and strength. And so we can become inspired by that symbology of the yew and use it in meditative or magical workings related to strength. Um, I have written down a Frisian rune, uh, runic inscription on a stave, which reads, translated, always carry this you, strength is contained in it. So any talismanic magic that you do that's related to strength, whether strength of will or strength of endurance or whatever it might be, you can use the you rune to help focus that energy and to increase your power in any way. Um, Also, because of that, and because of the evergreen nature of the yew tree, there's the idea that the yew is able to sustain itself amidst the hardships of winter and in the midst of, let's say, the evil winter spirits, to use a way of conceptualizing that's very ancient. And so resilience in the face of evil and life in the face of death are also big ideas that are related to the concept of this yew being an evergreen tree. So, to conclude, try to meditate upon this rune to help you conceptualize all of the different layers of the world tree and reality that we are in the midst of and that we don't really understand as well as we should, as often as we should. Use it to help you understand the connection between life and death. Use it for strength. Use it for the banishing of negative forces, and use it to help you understand the resilience inherent in the evergreen symbolism. You are, you are, you are, you. Eihwaz ansus rairo kenas, Yepowonjo hagalas, naudis yera, you asper throelas, soilo tiwas, berkano ewo manas, Lagos Eihwaz Degas, O Thala